Now we are going to see about a fifth unit. So the fifth unit will be files, modules and packages. So the files and exceptions, text files, reading and writing files, format operators, command line arguments, errors and exceptions, handling exceptions, modules, packages, introduction to Pygame tool. So the content of today's topic will be files here, exceptions, modules, packages and introduction to Pygame. So file handling in Python. So the file is nothing but a collection of data that will be stored on a secondary storage device like hard disk. Here it will suppose two types of files. One will be a text file. The text file is nothing but a stream of characters that can be sequentially processed by computer in forward direction. Here it will, these text files will be open in either for reading operation or writing operation or appending operation here at any given time. So here each line of data will ends with a new line of character and each file will ends with a special character called end of the file. Then the second one will be a binary files here. This may contains only a type of any type of data encoded in a binary form here. So it will includes, the files will include documents, PDF, images, spreadsheets, video, zip file on all executable files here. The functions, if we have a two built-in functions, main function will be a file open function and a file close function here. So the syntax will be file object is equal to open function. Within that we are passing two parameters here. The first parameter is a file name. Here we are going to see a text files, okay. So sample.txt, like that we can need to give a file name here and we can give a access mode here. So the default access mode will be a read mode. If we didn't give any access mode, I just simply giving a sample.txt alone, then it will open the particular sample.txt in a read mode here. So here this file object will be used for all operations here. So these file object will access a remote control of your file here. So for example, if we are taking TV, so the TV will be operated based on the remote control, right? We are going to change the channels, we are going to change the volume here, whatever changes we want to change the brightness, whatever changes we are going to do, so that will be based on those operations will be done using a remote. So whatever changes you want to perform on file is actually carried out through the file object here, these file object here, okay. So if you are going to open a file, it's your duty to close your file compulsorily. It will free up any resources, system resources that will be taken here. If after closing the file we are going to attempt to use the file object, it will result in a error here. But here Python will have a garbage collector to clean up unreferenced objects here. But still it's our responsibility to close the file and releases the resources whatever used here. I just said that some access modes will be available to open a file. So these are the modes available in Python. The first one will be R mode. This is a default mode. If you didn't give any modes, it will defaultly open as a read mode here. The second will, in read mode, the file pointer is at the beginning of the file to read the content whichever written in the particular file here. So in W mode is nothing but a write mode. So in write mode also the file pointer is available at the beginning of the file pointers at the beginning of the file here. So if the file is not available already, it will open the file, newly open the file and also return the content whichever passed in the write mode here. And if the file is available, then it will overwritten the particular content available in the file here. So A mode is nothing but append mode. If here the file pointer is at the end of the file here, so if the file is not exist, it will create a new file and will return the content whichever passed here. If the file is already available, it will append the particular content in the already available content here. The next one will be a B mode here. It's a binary mode. So this mode is used for binary operations here, for binary file operations here. So next will be a combining mode. Combining mode is nothing but all the combinations, all the first three will be combined with the binary mode here. So RB, WB and AB here. So last one will be a plus. It will be used for both read and write a file. If I want to open a file for a read operation and also write operation, we can use this plus operator here. So it will perform both read and write operation. For example, if I am going to use with the R mode, okay, R plus, it will open the file for read operation, read mode, okay, and also I can able to perform a write operation here. Same if I use a W plus, I can open the file in a write mode, but also I can able to perform a read operation of the particular file. If I am opening a plus mode, I am opening the particular file in the append mode operation, okay, but I can also perform a, I can able to read a particular file. Same way for RB plus, WB plus and AB plus here, okay. So these are the some 5 functions, built-in functions used to read files, write files and append to files here. So there are 3 files we are available here. 3 built-in functions available to read a file here. The first one will be read, next is read line and then read lines. First, I just already said it, I need to have a file object, that is here file object will be f is equal to, I am just calling a built-in function open by passing 2 parameters. One is a file name, here file name may be for example sample.txt, comma, I just open the file in a read mode here, okay. So in this one I already said this file object will act as a remote, that is for all operations it will be act as a remote control, right? So I am just going to use a f dot read. I am just calling the function as a read function here, okay. So this will the first line will open the particular file in read mode. So this read function will place the pointer will be placed at the beginning of the file, right? It will read all the content in the particular file, okay. So if I am going to pass some parameter within the read file, I am just passing t. So it will read first 10 characters alone. It will include a space also, okay. So if I am giving I return some function, right? So only I am going to read specific characters alone in the particular file, I can pass a parameter here. If I am here passing a parameter as 10, then it will read first 10 characters. That characters will include space also. The second one will be a read line function. This read line function will read only single line at a time here. Here also we need to call the particular function using a file object here. For all operation we need to use a file object here. So here file object will be f dot, I am just calling the read line function. Here for example I have in a file I have a 5 to 10 lines of code, 10 lines of content. It will read the first line of content around here. If I am going to give a second time also read line, so first line will be read the first content and second read line will be read the second line of the content here, okay. Only single line from the file can be reading, okay. So if after reading file will automatically the control will be passed to the next line, so that only it will read the first line and also it will read the second line here. Here read lines, this read lines will return it will read the content, all the content in the particular file and return as a list as a output here, okay. We will get all the content as a list here. So these are 3 read functions we have available. The next will be a write function. So this write function will here for to use this write function we need to open the file in a write mode here. So f is equal to open file name comma within the double quotation we need to give a write mode here. After that I can use this file object here, file object dot, I am just calling the write functions. Within the function itself, parameter itself, I am just passing the strings here, whatever we need to return in the particular file here, okay. If the particular file is already available, it return directly into the file. If it's not available, it will open the particular file and write the content whichever passed in the write function here. The second one will be a write lines. Here write line is not available, only write lines. So here it will I am going to have some list here. L for the list name will be L here. So within the list I am just passing S1 comma S2, like that some strings I have in a list here. I just save it in a L here list. So that particular list I am just passing as a parameter to the write lines here. So it will write the list into a particular file, okay. So here read lines will given as our output as a list here. Here we are passing the list as an input, okay, and the content within the list will be written into the particular file here. If I am going to use I am to create a append mode here, okay. I am open the particular file in append mode. I have some content already written, okay. So within the content I am just going to add some content here using a write function here. So for append mode also we are going to use a call of a write function. Using the write function I am going to write the content. In append mode, the file pointer at the end of the file. Okay, so that after that end of the file, I am going to start writing the content which are passing in the write mode here. Okay, so you're going to append mode will act less, so we can go on adding with the already content here. Okay. So we can also use a with statement here. Okay, so this with statement will simplify the file handling, and also it will prevent the resource leakages here. So this with statement simplifies file handling by automatically closing the files once the block is exited here. If I am going to exit from the with statement, it will automatically releases all the resources and it will close the file. Here the close function is not available, not needed to. Here we no need to write a close function, call a close function here. If you are going to use the open function, so that we need to compulsorily need to close the function here. If we are going to using a with, it will automatically exit, releases all the resources while we are exiting from the with command. Okay, with statement. So here no need to use the close functions here. So this will cleans this cleaner approach will effectively prevent resource leakages, enhancing code reliability and maintainability. Okay, here the syntax will be a with. We are going to use a keyword with, and then we are going to open as usual. Okay, open file name, comma access mode we need to go, and then we are going to ask a keyword as a as, and we are going to pass a file object. Here whatever name we want to give, you can give as a file object name, and then colon. Within this within this we can say give all the block of statements we need to perform here. Okay, so this is the with statement here. So we have one more functions we are going to use here, splitting words. So to using splitting words, we have a function called split function is available here. This will allow to read lines from a file and splits the file based on the character here. Here the default split function will be a space here. So if I am going to give Python space programming, so Python will split Python as a single word and programming as a single text word. Okay, if I am going to, this is default one is a space here. If I am going to use some comma, okay, I am just giving a Python comma, data comma, object comma. So like that I am going to give here. So if I am going to encounter some comma here, it will split Python as a single word and data as a single word and object as a single word here. Okay, so for that we are using a split function here. So for this we can give file with file name, open file name and access mode as a file here. Okay, so using this file object around we are going to perform operations here. Here I just I'm just reading open in the access mode, need to be open in a read mode here. So then I need to give file name file object dot read line function. So it will read the first line and save it into a variable called L here. And then in that variable I am having the first line of content, right? So then I am going to using a and that file that variable name dot I am going to call a particular function here. So it will defaultly if I encounter a space, it will split the particular words and it will be saved in a W variable. So if I am going to use a comma here, I need to go like this here. So if I am encounter some comma here, it will split the particular word and save it in a W here. And then if I am going to print that particular words, I can print here, or if I want to find the length of a word, I can print. Okay, whatever operations we can need to perform using these split words, you can do the operations here. Okay, so this is the split functions used here. So next one will be a format specifier. So format specifier is used to control the appearance of the output values in the Python here. If you want your output will be in a good appearance, we can use a format specifier here. So here the three types we can do here. First one will be within the curly braces, you can give a specifier here, and then we can give a dot operator, and then we need to give a keyword like we need to call a function like format. Within that we are going to pass some value here, or we can use F for format specifier, first letter F, right? So F as a F. Within that curly braces I can give value colon specifier. Okay, so in this format I can use a here. Or the third one will be a string like some string, some data is being given. In that I can use a percentage D, and then I am within after double quotation I give a percentage, and then I am going to pass the variable name whichever stored the values here. Okay, So with this three, either one operations will be, either one format will be used for to look your output will good. Okay. So here the format character, sum of the character will be %C is used for character, S is used for string formatting, D is used for decimal integer, and F is used for floating point real numbers. Okay. So here for example we are going to say here name is equal to, I just giving as a RAM here, A is equal to 34.4672 like that I am giving, and G is equal to 15. Here I am just proving as F. Okay, within the double quotation I just pass my name is, the curly braces I just pass the value here. Okay, name, so the value say in the variable name I am just saving the value as a RAM here, and then slash in, and then I am giving a my friend age is, within the curly braces I just give a G here. Okay, so if we are passing like this, then will I get an output as a my name is Ram, and the next line I will get an output as a my friend age is 15 here. The second format will be here my name is, okay, %S I just passing, and then slash in, my age is %D I just passing, after double quotation I have passed %, and then within the get I just passing what are two variables I need to pass here. The %, this value is stored in a variable name here, I just passing here comma, and the age will be stored in a here, I just passing here. Since here I am just giving a floating value, right, 34.46, but I am here giving operator as a %D, then it will take only the integer part here, 34 will be taken here. Just we will run here and see. Wait. Just open new. Okay, now. Okay, actually I already opened, so that's why the problem is there. So my name is Ram, my friend age is 15. Okay, here my name is Ram and my age is 34. So here I just giving right, so the it will be looks like good, right? Output will be, for this alone we are using a format operator here. Okay, the next one will be a command line arguments. See, it will be used to pass input. Here what we are going to do, we are going to write a program in Python, okay, as usual, but the input will be passed in a command line. Okay, so command line we are going to pass a file name, and then we are going to pass a input here, and the calculations will be performed in a Python programs whatever we written, and then output will also be printed in a command line only. Okay, so here we are going to pass a input from a command line to execute to a program when they started to execute here. Okay, so here the arguments in Python, here we need to use for this we need to use a sys module here. The sys module is important since we need to import a sys module, then only the particular command line arguments will be used here. Here we are using another will be argument to access the arguments. Here we are passing some input from a command line, right? So for that we need to use a argv argument here. Okay, so this will be used to access a command line argument here. So for here the value 0 will represents the argument that starts from 0 here. So 0 will represents the file name here. Okay, from that 1 we will provide a access for the input, first input. We are giving to a 2, and then it will be taken as a second input here. Like that we are going to use here. Okay, we will see one example. So here I am just importing a sys module here. Sys module is imported sys, and then I just passing, right? So I just getting a argument of argument 1 input from command line, and then just I convert that. Here will be the arguments whatever we passed from command line will be taken as a string. If we want to as an integer, I am just converting as an integer using a int function. Okay, so I just convert it and save it in the variable a, and then second variable I am just passing here, okay, from a command line, that will be getting from sys.argv, and then I am just converting as integer and save it in a b, and then I am going to add this to function and I will save it in a variable add, and then I am going to print sum is equal to add. Okay, so we can see, we can open the command line also here. Here the file name will be path.py, right? So here I am going to give path.py. Then I am going to pass two variables, okay, 2 and 3. Two input values I am just pass here. Here I just going to call path.py. I am going to pass parameter. Okay, so we need to go to the particular path. Since I just in this one, right? So I am going to go a particular path. Within the path I am just going to call the, here only I am just saving, right? In this path only I am just saving as a path.py. So I am just calling the function with the path.py, and I am just passing the input value 2 and 3 here. So those in 2 value is going to here. So here what will the first arguments will take in 2 and convert into a integer part and save it as in a, and then second 3 will be going to pass in a, will be getting here in a argv of 2, and then convert it as a integer and save it as a b. Here 2 plus 3 will be 5, it will be add, and then just print a sum here. So the sum will be printed here, right? So sum colon 5 here. So this is what we can say it is a command line argument here. Okay, I think all you are clear about this command line arguments. So this is a sample program which already we can execute and see, right? So this is likewise, if I am going to import sys and I am going to just only print the file name alone, means if I can print like this one. Okay, file name dot %c, I am just giving percentage as sys.argv. Since first 0 will represent the file name here, right? So it will print a path.py. So the next topic will be a file handling file exceptions. So before we enter exceptions, just we have a 3 types of errors will be available. One will be a syntax error, logical error, and runtime error. So you all know about this one, right? So syntax error is nothing but if you have any error, if you are giving keywords wrongly. Okay, so instead of print statement, print comment, I am just giving in a capital letters. Okay, so if after for range I didn't give any colon here. So like that, if we are missing any keyword or Python programming syntax, I just language I am just not giving. I didn't follow the structure of the Python programming languages, it will give some error here. So those error we can call it as a syntax error. So we have a logical error. Logical error means I am just for performing addition, I am just giving a calculation part as a subtraction. Okay, so the answer I didn't get any error here, but the logic I am used here will be wrong. Okay, so that we can call it as a logical error. So we also have some runtime errors. These runtime errors like if I'm going to open access a file which is not available, so then file not found error will be available. If I'm going to try to give a I'm getting values from a user. I'm trying the user is giving some 0, that is not divisible by 0. So the particular function is not divisible by 0. So those error will become under a runtime error. Particular list is not available, but I am going to access a particular first, try to access. So those all comes under runtime error. So here we are going to cover a runtime error. So those runtime error we can call it as an exceptions here. Okay. So those runtime error we are going to handle. Okay. So these are handling runtime errors, we can call it as a exception handling here. So that if you are going to handle some exceptions, so it will ensure that the program will run smoothly and provide a informative user feedback. So if only if error will comes means without giving error, it will run a whole program and it will give a message like, okay, you are giving a value as a 0 here, it will not be divisible 0, so give a correct value. So like that we are going to give some feedback message to the user here. So some of the common type of exceptions like will be we are using is a value error, type error, IO error. Okay, so these are the some of the errors we can commonly faced here. So here those exceptions will be handled using a 2 block here. One will be a try block and another will be a except block here. Okay. So here try block, within the try block I am going to give a critical operations here. So whichever operations will perform will create a exceptions, those will be given in a try block here. Okay. So what the try block will be do? So try block is executed first time. Okay. If no exception occurs, then except block is skipped. It will not go into a except block. Okay. It will continue the remaining code in the program here. If exception occurs, okay, so during execution of any statement in try block, if exception occurs means then first for what we do, it will rest of the statements in the try block will be skipped here. If the exception type matches the exception named after exception keyword here. So here we are going to give some keyword, right? So here try, within the try we just giving the critical operations here. So if I didn't encounter any exceptions, then it will skip this part and will go to the remaining part of the program here. If I found some exceptions here, what happened? It will check, okay, it will skip the remaining part in the try block, okay, and it will go and search what in except block if there is any match in the exception name here, that is keyword, any except keyword is matched here. So then if it's getting matched here, it will continue with that particular except block, okay. After then it will skip remaining part in your program and stop the program here. Okay. If exception occurs and I didn't have any match here, okay. For example, I just giving except as a 0 divisible error, but I getting an error exception as a value error here. So but it is not doesn't match here. Right? So here what happened means it will pass it to the outer try block in case of nested try block. There also it's no exception is not available. Then no exception analysis is found in the Python, that it will be unhandled exceptions and the program is terminated without any error message here. Okay. If any exceptions related to this is found here, it will handle here. If there is no exceptions found here, then unhandled exceptions, then program will execute or will terminate with an error message that there is no exception to handle here. Okay. So this is the main part here. So here try block we need to get try colon statements are given here, and then except block we will be handle that particular exception, so that we give except we are giving exception name here. Okay. So here we can give try with multiple except here. So except exception name, for example except value error, except 0 divisible error. So like that more except statements can be used with a single try block here. And also within the single except we can give more exception names, okay, that we can say a multiple exceptions in single block here. So here we have one single block, one try block and y except block. Within the one except block we just give by separating a comma, we can give more exceptions here. This will be a multiple except class here. If syntax try except block, okay, here it will catches all exception, not able to identify root cause of the problem here. Okay. So what is the difference between here previous one and here? Here I am just giving except and exception name here. but here I didn't give any exception name here. So whatever exceptions, by giving a value error, it will come handle here. If I encounter some zero divisible error, it will handle here. If I getting IO error, it will be handled here. But we don't know the root cause of the problem, whether it is a zero divisible error or it is a value error. That we don't know. We just say some problem will be available in the program, that alone we can know, okay, but we can't identify the root cause of the problem here, okay. So the another one will be we can use a try except, along with that we can use a else block here, okay. What is the else use of this else block here? Here I am just giving some critical portion, right? If I am going to run here, so the particular portion in try block there is no exceptions, okay. Then it will skip the except block and then else block will be running here. If I am going to encounter some exceptions in a try block, then except block will be working here, else block will be skipped here. Okay. So when else block will be work? Only if there is no exceptions, then only else block will get executed. If there is any exceptions, else block will not be executed here. Okay. So this is the use of a else block here. And also we can able to raise an exceptions here. So this will enable to specify error message tailored to your program. In program C we can also specify error message here itself, okay. So here the using exceptions you can manage how program responds to errors and also ensure it behaves periodically. So here how we can, within the try block I am just going to raise an exception with the exception name here, okay. So here we can also re-raise the exception in the except block here. So I raise the exception in here, okay, try block, and give again I raise command in a except block, that we can call it as a re-raise exception, okay. So within the try block itself I can raise an exceptions. Forcefully I can create an exceptions here, okay, raise an exceptions. That for that problem we can use a raise block here. Raise keyword is used here. So exceptions also we can use in a invoked function here. Here I just give it here function, right? Def function, function name I just within the function I just pass parameter. Within the definition of the function I just using a try block here. So within here I just giving some statements and except try except block. Within the exception name I am just doing. So what are the exceptions I carried out here will be handled in the exception here. Same way I can go in give a function call within the try block also, okay. So I can use a try except block within the function definition, and also within the function call also. Here I am just calling a try block. Within the try block I am just calling a function name here, okay. Here itself if I have any problem with this one, it will create an exceptions and it will pass it. For example, I am just going to divide two values here, okay. So I am just calling a values here. I am just passing a values here. So I am passing one first value as a 2 and second value as a 0. So it will pass to here. Here I am going to perform a division operation. Here I can encounter that error. I will handle in a zero divisible error format and it will be handled here. So for example, if I am going to give this function call itself in a try block. So if I am going to pass the arguments as a first value as a 3 and second value as a 0 here for a divisible. So here it will encounter here itself the value it will be encountered that 0 should not be divisible here. It should be the second value and it will create an exceptions and it will not go to a function definition itself, okay. So likewise function can be, exceptions can be used in a invoked functions also here. So these are the exceptions which will be available already, right? We can also create those here except the value error, zero divisible error, input or IO errors, okay. So file not found errors. So those error exceptions we can already, it's a predefined functions, okay. It's a not predefined functions, it's a predefined exceptions. Already code is written for that one, okay. So if you want to create a new exceptions for your problem, for your coding, so if you want new exceptions, you can create your own exceptions here. So here own exceptions is created by new exception class we can use here, okay. Here new exception class must be derived from a base exception class. That is base exception class is nothing but a predefined in Python here. For example, here just see class name I am giving. Okay, here exceptions I need to use a base exceptions, predefined exceptions I am going to use. By using this, I can derive a new exception class here. Okay, so then I can use a try and except block, and using that I can create a object name for this one, and then access that excepts class here. Okay, like that we can use a you can create a user defined function exceptions also. Finally, you can use a finally class here. Okay, it is used to for cleanup actions. Mainly it can use for the cleanup actions here. It irrespective of whatever exceptions will be acquire or not acquire. So in else statement we just seen, right, if there is any exceptions in a try block, else block will not work. But if you are using a finally along with this one, okay, if there is any exceptions or exceptions not occurring, the program is running smoothly, or if there is any exceptions, okay, in the time also the finally block will be worked. Whatever statements we are given in a finally block will be worked irrespective of the exceptions here. So we can give a array except else, and also we can use a finally along with this one. Okay, or we can use a try except and finally, or try finally, whatever method combinations we can use here. Okay, that's all about exceptions here. The next topic we will move on to our modules here. So this modules will be is nothing but a file will containing. So this module is a file containing Python definitions, functions, statements, and instructions here. Okay. To use modules in a program, programmer needs to import the particular module here. So functions help us to reuse a particular piece of code, but modules will go a step ahead here. It allows to reuse one or more functions in a programs even without function defined in that particular program here. Okay, so this is the main use of the modules here. So it is like a file. Okay, it is like a Python file with the same py.py extension only. It has some definitions of all functions, variables, and classes. All those will be covered in here. Okay, here the program where we want to use those functions or variables, just we are going to import that particular module alone here. These modules are nothing but a pre-written piece of code that are used to perform a common task here. Okay. So grouping related code into a module makes a code easier to understand and use. So for that finally we are going for modules here. So these modules can be module locations for where we can search. Okay, so just import the particular module, right? So how we can import to load and execute here. Here the modules will be imported in a program must be located and loaded in a memory or first. Okay, before it can be used. So if we are going to use that particular module, first will search first current directory. If the particular current working directory in the module is not available, it will go on to a directory specified in a Python path environment variable. So it will search the module that the particular module is not available in that Python path environment variable. It will go to a Python installation specific path here. Okay, so there also if the particular module is not available, then it will give an error message that import error exceptions will be generated. Okay, still if it's not found, it will import error exceptions will be generated, and then program will be terminated here. The particular module is available in any one of the directory, then what it will do, it will load into a particular memory, it will load the particular module into a memory here. Okay, and then compile the version of the module with the file extension .pyc is generated here. So if you are going to use the module in the second time, then it will not import the whole module again. It will use the compiled version of the particular module here. Okay. So likewise only loading and execution will be performed. Okay, load into the memory, create a compiled version. If you are going to use the same module in the second time, it will only use the compiled version module here. So these are the some predefined modules. Okay, only I just listed some of few modules. There are a lot of modules are predefined modules are available here. So we can say it's not a predefined, we can say pre-installed modules. Okay, so it can have sys module. Okay, so sys module is for a system. Okay, so sys represents a system here. Okay, sys module it will import and we have a OS module, operating system. Math module for mathematical functions, string for string functions, random modules, date and time modules, and calendar modules. So these are modules we can available here. So we can for sys module we can use to find a path. Okay, sys.path, if we are going to give a sys.path, it will give a modules for current, whether it will be in a current directory or it will be in a Python path or it will be installation depth path. So wherever the particular module is available, it will give the specific path. Okay, so those paths will be available using this module sys.path. Okay. So next OS we can get, here I just give some example. I am going to import a OS module and I am going to use a module name dot, I am just calling some function, right, get CWD, that is nothing but current working directory. So it will give the which directory we are working here. So that will be given by calling this function here. And I am importing some math function, import math here. Here the number 16 will be I just giving. I am just going to use two functions. One function is a square root and another is a variable here. I am just calling math dot module dot square root function. I am passing here I am going to get a number value as a 4 here. Likewise I just passing math dot pi. So pi value is 3.14 like that. So that will be getting output here. So I am going to use a import random. So if I am going to use a random dot rand interf 1 to 100. So I am going to get a for I in range of 5. So in 5 I am going to 5 random values from 1 to 100. Okay, within that range, okay, I am going to get a 5 values here. So okay, so like that random model will be used. Date and time is used for date and time. So just giving date and time dot now function I am going to call here means it will give the current date and time here. Okay, like this I am going to use a calendar. So dot month I am going to pass here. So current module, so calendar will be available here. Okay. So next will be user defined models. So here models I am going to just create a model name cal.py. So I am just giving a definition with 4 definitions here. One is add, definition, subtraction, multiplication and divide. So those definitions are given here, and I am going to import a particular cal. Okay, cal module is I just imported here. I am just giving a is equal to 10 and b equal to 5 here. Here I am going to call that particular module alone. So call dot, and in that particular function, what is the function here? Add. I am just going to call a function add. I am just passing a values a comma b. Same way I can call subtract function, multiply function, divide function. Okay, so those functions I call so that I can get a value here. So those value can be getting here. So here if I am going to give a divisible, sir, exceptions also I have used here. So if I am going to use an exception here, I am just giving exception as can't divide by 0. If I am going to pass a 0 here, it will give an error message exception, right? You can't divide by 0 here. Okay, so try if I be giving since it's a code, it will be in a critical operations, so I am giving it in the try except block here. Okay, so this is we can call it as a user defined module here. We can use a from import statement here. Import, we can give import specific attributes here. For example, from we are going to give a math and then import pi. Only particular pi function will be imported here. If I am going to import more than 2 values here, okay, 2 functions or variables, so you can use using a comma separator. I need to import all the variables and functions, I can use a star operator here. Okay, if I need to rename that particular function and used in a program, I can use a as keyword here. For that we can use a from import statement will be used here. So private variables in models, we can also use a private variables here. Okay, so if we are going to name start with 2 underscore means that we can call it as a private identifier, that one. So those private identifier we cannot use in our, we cannot import and use in a particular module here. Okay, standard library models. So here it will support 3 types of models here. One is written by a programmer. Okay, that I just given, right, user defined models. The second will be installed from external sources. Okay, so we can install from external like Pygame, matplotlib, scipy. Okay, those are all the models which will be imported from external sources here. NumPy, so those are all you can export, you can import it from external sources. Pre-installed with Python is a standard library. We can use it OS, sys, math, calendar, datetime. So these are the models you can say it is a pre-installed in Python here. Okay. So next one is the packages here. Packages is nothing but a collection of Python modules. So here packages we can have all the modules are collected in a single Python here. Okay, package. Here only one difference is between the directory and the packages will be we can have a underscore init underscore .py file will be available within the package here. Okay, so this is used to initialize the Python package here. So how to create a package? So I just create a package name as a sample here. Within that I just add two models. Okay, add and sub two models, and also I can create one more model like a underscore init underscore. Okay, so within the init function what I am going to do is I am going to import those two models here. So from dot add import, here what are the functions? Here I just having only one function, so I am just importing only one function for sum. Same way I am just going to import a second modules from dot sub import. I am having only diff function, so I am just importing the function here. This will be saved in a underscore init file here. So within the model I just having a function like. Okay, if I am going to use here I am going to import a sample dot add. So sample package, within that I am going to use a module called add module here. Okay, so that sample dot add dot, within that I am
package. Package is nothing but a collection of Python modules here. It looks like a directory. The one difference between the directory and Python packages will be it will have a underscore init underscore file here. This underscore init underscore Python file is used to initialize the Python packages here. So how to create a Python new packages here? So to create a packages, I just created a package called sample here. Just create a folder and name it as a sample here. Within this folder, I am just having two models here. Okay, it contains a collection of modules, right? So I have two models, that is the add model and the sub model. So the add model contains only one function sum, and the sub model contains only one function called diff. Okay, so I already wrote the code and save it in add and sub here. And then I have one more module called init underscore here. So this init module will contains will have I just import all the models whichever are available in this particular package will be imported in this init module. So using from dot, I am just giving a module name add and import what are the packages available, what are the functions available in the particular module is imported here. So I have only one function called sum. I just import that one. So for the same for sub module also, so I have imported a sub module. From the sub module, I have imported the function called diff here. Okay. So then I just save and close here. So that's all to create a package here. So how to use the packages here? So I just import as usual how we are using a module, right? Same way we can use a packages also here. I just import using input keyword. I just import a package name called sample dot importing. I am just importing the module add alone here. Okay, and then using this I have print statements. So in the print statements I have package name dot add module. In that module I just going to call a function called sum here. Sum. So I am just choosing a parameter as 2, 3. So it will add 2, 3 and will get a result as a 5 here. Okay. So that's all about packages here. Here many third-party modules are also stored in PyPy. So Python package index here. So here pip is used to install a command prompt. Okay. So you can install third-party modules using a pip command. So how to install? So we need to give as a pip install and library name. So but a new version of the Python have these models installed by default. For example, if you want a library called Pygame, NumPy, Matplotlib, SciPy, so those can be installed using a pip commands. In a command prompt, you need to give a pip install Pygame. So like the pip install NumPy, pip install SciPy. So like that you need to go, you can install it and then you can work on that particular library. Okay. So next topic will be introduction to Pygame. So it is nothing, it is an open source library. It's designed for video, mainly it is designed for video games here. It is built on the SDLC. SDLC is nothing but a simple direct media layer. It will provide a low level access to the graphics, audio and input devices here. So you can draw shapes, lines, images on the screen using this, and also create animations. You can play sound effects, background music. Those can be done using a Pygame here. Okay. So steps involved in Pygame will be, so first step will be installation Pygame. It is used to set up internal models for graphics, sound and input handling here. So second step will be creating a window here. So this will set up a window or screen where game will be displayed here. The third step will be a game loop. It will continually update the screens, process input and handles game logic here. So the last one will be a quit Pygame. So when a game over, properly exit the Pygame to free up the resources here. Okay. So next, there are some of the important functions used here will be, first one will be a pygame.init. So it will initialize all the Pygame modules here, and then second will be a pygame.displaySet mode. So this will create a window of a specified size. So already we seen some step size, just that only have these functions here. The third will be a pygame.event.get. So this will checks for events like pressing or closing a button with like that. Okay. So and then fourth will be a pygame.display.flip. This will update the entire screen here. Okay. So we can also some have a pygame.draw.cycle function to draw a ball, to draw a circle or ball something on the screen, and also we can have a pygame.time.clock.tick, so to controls the frame rate. So these are all the some of the functions which we used. Using these functions, we can create any game. Okay, so we are the bouncing a ball or any other games. If you want to create using a Pygame, you can create this. Okay, that's all about unit 5. Thank you all.